So let's crack on with it really. So I think we said we want to go over simple errors, stuff that you're seeing all the time. Let's run it through it like step by step. So, someone's taken a set of primary impressions, sent something through to you. What kind of things is it? Tray design? What sort of stuff you're seeing at that stage?
The main errors that I see when I receive a primary impression and then I cast the impression is that normally we don't have the landmarks. For example, on the lower impression, normally we don't get the retromolar pads, and the upper one. Sometimes we don't have the T. We don't have the inams. Sometimes we don't have the muscle attachments. All these kind of things that to create a proper special way, sometimes we don't have, and this is a big error. I know that sometimes it's quite difficult for the dentist to take good impressions. Sometimes the patients don't help and everything, but if we can get this, I'm pretty sure that the final result will be much better.
Yeah, I think we've had some. Well, like I've said to you, I've missed this or I've not got this as well, but work it out, and there is something there. Build the tray out across this area, and I'll get it in the secondary impression. So I guess if you're it's being aware that you're missing things, and if you are, say that it will be easier in a special tray.
And one of the good things to have when we have a good relation with the dentist is that we can say to the dentist, look, we have this issue, can you repeat it? And what I found out, because we don't have a good relation with what we are a little bit concerned or of saying to the dentist, look, this is not correct, can you repeat it? And this is why it's good to build a good relation with. Because in the end, it's a team that we're working as a team. So basically, we need to do it this way.
I think like we have with ours, where you mark on the landmarks that you want to make sure that I capture them again in the secondary impression. So I think that's really handy. So like people who maybe aren't having that done, like ask your technician about that, because that's really useful to know, that you're happy with these bits or you're not happy. And as I say, building that relationship where you can have that feedback, and you're not as a technician, you're not afraid that I'm going to blame you for this, that, and the other, because you've got to work on it together. Tray design and things like that. What kind of things do you need to know? Materials or what?
Something that normally happen is when they request a special tray, they don't tell us what type of material they're going to use on the final impression. And different materials will have different designs of the special tray. And I think it's really, really important to have this. You just need to say, do an impression in alginate. I'm going to do an impression in silicon. I'm going to do an impression in Impragam. Yeah, just say that, and we know that we need to design in a different way. It will be really important to do. It's quite simple. And if they do
more
that,
than your space perforated, or just more the actual material.
We know that then, for example, for algae, 2-3 millimeters spaced and perforated, and for Improgram normally is without space and without perforation and everything. It will help technician, will help dentist, will help to get a good result in the end.
And then probably communication wise or designing stuff, obviously the wax rims is going to be that really important stage. So what stuff's going wrong there? Are people not marking things properly? What do you prefer in terms of setting the jaw edge? Do you like melted, wax, blue mousse? What kind of things like that?
The white registration, what I would like to have, and I think all the technicians will like to have, all the marks, for example, from the middle line to the canine line to the smile line to the occlusal plane, everything really marked, and the way that when we're going to transfer to the articulated and then when we're going to set up the teeth, we have all the information. If we have that information, for us will be easy. We just need to place the teeth and then follow the lines that you guys provide to us. So
So
it's
do
easy.
you used
Middle
to get that
line.
a lot without the lines?
Sorry.
Do you used to get that a lot without the lines?
Sometimes, sometimes, sometimes I don't. So basically, when I don't have, I need to doing the work the different way. In my case, what I follow is PPS, and without having all the marks from this, but I can use the models to find where they should be. Yes.
Yeah, that's the BPS is quite advanced stuff for people that don't know. We've got a question just saying, as a lab technician,
Yeah.
do you prefer the dentist telling you if it should be perforated or non-perforated? So is that more saying you just want to know what material that they want to use, and then you'll make them the tray suitable? Yeah.
Yes. I think the best option will be to say the material that they want to use, but I know that some dentists like to work in a different way. And this is a tricky thing when we are doing, for example, the case for the first time with this dentist. We need to ask or Neil to tell them, look, I normally I do this way, but tell me how you like to work. And this way you can work together and create some kind of interaction and do it to everybody.
Yeah, because we're all going to do, I mean, I do mine silicon for complete, so that was a bit of a weird one for you getting used to that when I started that, wasn't it?
Sorry, Rupert, I'm not listening. I'm not hearing you.
You got me now?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, when we started working on completes, I do mine in a perforated tray with silicon just because my lab never listened and I got used to it. And that was a bit weird for you getting used to that.
Remember that conversation that I said, okay, you say, no, I'm used to that.
I was used to it. What about like after you've done we've then done the wax try-in, what kind of information do you want to know at that point? Photos. Obviously, we like to do full face photos of a wax try-in. Hey, Dean, you're right, mate. Full face photos, like, is that kind of thing that you'd want for all cases, or what kind of communication do you want after a wax try-in?
When I have the opportunity, I like to have photos from the beginning of the case. So photos with the patient with all denture, photos with the patient without the denture, photos with the bite block, because from the bite block I can see quite a lot, photos with the try-in, and of course the final ones. This one is just for our ego to make you happy and cool or not when it fails. Yeah, but yeah. I try to have pictures from the beginning of the case until the end. Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll go through maybe one of our cases and show photos. We just got a question there. In dental school, we learned to take impressions for removable in silicon, but all the technicians I've worked with prefer alginate. What do you think the reason for that is? I think it's laziness. Most people can't cast up an silicon properly. That seems to be what I hear from a lot of technicians. Dean at Innovate always tells us that. Hey, Gabby, I'm growing it out, I know.
Speaking about the materials, I think the alginate is really good for, in my honest opinion, of course, it's good for the primary impression because we'll push everything. So if it's a good impression, we'll give you the full detail, all the landmarks, all the frenems, all the muscle attachments and everything. But when we are doing a final impression, we don't need to push everything. We need the detail without forcing. This way we'll get the proper impression, and this way I think the silicone, yes, it will be the best impression for the final impression. Yes, in my opinion,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, no, I prefer the silicone as well. Aston's asking, what are your views on making buttresses on top of the ridge in the fall position, so finger S essentially, to allow the well, for our cases we don't do those. Yeah, it's personal preference really, and if you want them, make sure you ask your technician, because I don't ask for them, but other people probably ask you for finger rests or different designs. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, I think I think it's a preference. The dentists like it and other ones don't like it. In this kind of situation, I leave for the dentist to, if they want something like this, they will request it. Yes,
Yeah,
I just create the normal handle. For example,
yeah,
I
I think like
remember with
the tray
you,
design's
we create
important.
the, I think,
Yeah, go on then.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure that with you, we create, when it was the open trays and we couldn't place the handle, we placed the,
yeah, for Carol's case, wasn't it? We had the window.
yeah.
Yeah, and we needed the finger. Like it's for actually, yeah, for both of the window impressions we did. Yeah, for that I'll use the finger rest because you just can't get a handle on there. And then I think, yeah, the only other thing, as we said there, window trays and things, you need to, I think it's important we've got to discuss that at the start of the case. So like what we'll tend to do is that I'll text you before I've even, done the consult, maybe before I've even taken an impression, and said, this is going to be the issues that we're going to have. This is, what we're going to have to work on. I'm going to need a window tray, and I think just how you communicate, like, my dockets are crap. I just write like special tray for the 14th of February. But then
Yeah,
we text a lot and when we Dropbox. So, but I think it's just how you're going to work with different people. I don't know if some technicians really want everything like super written down. I'm quite happy just sort of texting it because I feel that's easier, and we probably talk far too much. But so yeah, so like as well there, that sort of runs into sort of our workflow. So we do lots of messages, lots of photos, Dropbox a lot. So we start to finish, we've got sort of, as you say, you want initial photos. So you just want to mess around with wax trine photo, full face wax trine photo, and then you can sort of make your tweaks and do things like that. So this one we were quite sort of on it in terms of how we wanted to set her up. We had the old photo. So this is like one way you need to communicate a lot, wasn't it? So we had some good fun with this one. You need that photo from before if you're going to set up the teeth with, if you're going to set the teeth up in a certain way to match this lady. I'll get the full picture up, easy to see. So we would try to match in with this kind of smile. So we needed that up down gingiva. So where's the final one? Yeah. So then you managed to match that with the photo. So you need to have that rim photo recorded. Is this it? Nope.
You take two pictures. You
Too
take too many photos.
We had to upgrade the Dropbox. Yes, you need to communicate that rim photo so that you know where the lip is in relation to that and all that. So I think that's an example of what you can do. I think Dropbox is good. We used WeTransfer before as well, didn't we, to go through stuff. Do you ever set up the teeth in Lingualize Occlusion for completes? So most of the occlusion stuff I actually leave to you, so I'll let you answer that as well. What do you think about Lingualize Occlusion?
I'll explain. Normally, I do the setup and the normal balance occlusion. The occlusion that all the dentists requested. Only for dentist request for Lingualize Occlusion, I will put in Lingualize Occlusion. If you ask me if I like Lingualize Occlusion, yes. I really like Lingualize Occlusion. I think it really works in some cases, and in a good thing for the technicians, in my opinion, is quite easy to set up Lingualize Occlusion. So if the dentist sent the Lingualize Occlusion, I will be happy because it will be a different case, different way of doing, and will be so easy for me to set up in Lingualize Occlusion.
Yeah.
But again, is an option of the dentist.
Yeah, and you just need to sort of communicate that and why you want to do that, and um, yeah, it's just you just need to not assume that the technician just knows exactly what you're thinking. To be fair, we've done enough cases now that you can probably guess what I'm going to want and ask for, and we take enough photos that we know what we're going to be doing together. So yeah, you could probably half guess what I'm going to ask for most of the time, but you should still never like assume it. I think the good way to think about it is that, say you've done your impressions, you send that off, you think, what more could what more could the person want when they're receiving that in the lab? It's like the jaw edge, and not putting on a midline. Like, how you're going to get some models, and you might look at the incisal papilla and things like that and be able to guesstimate it, but you're putting a lot of extra work in there when it takes 2 minutes to draw a little cross on a wax rim. And I think, let's go into, you want to do a bit of sort of facial analysis, smile design. I know you like to use Keynote when we start doing stuff like that. Is that something that you think the dentist should be doing? Is it something that you do and send it in the wax try-in? Because I think like ours, we'll have some photos and maybe we'll say another case, like we've done that a couple of times, Zed. I showed the patient this chap and he liked that case, so let's do something similar, and I've let you design it. What do you think about that? Obviously you're going off the wax rim. What kind of stuff do you want?
I think a full face picture photo of the person with the bite registration will help a lot. Why? When I'm doing a model analysis of the face, not of the model, analysis of the face, and I can use Keynote to see if for example, if the dentist marked the middle line in the correct position, because I can see quite a lot of things. I can see if the position, the incisal position of the central is the position where the dentist marked to. So the model analysis will help with all these kind of things. And again, we'll be with the try-in. If you send the full face picture of the try-in, I can see if we have a cant on the when I set up the teeth. I can see if the middle line is correct. I can see if the size of the teeth I choose is the proper ones, because I can align it with the nose and everything. So full face photo is really, really important.
Yeah, and you're using sort of full face in terms of facial shape, linking that to teeth shape. Do you do things like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you've got me on. You wanted me to start using this more because you sent me this, and this is our next step, isn't it? So this is a form selector for the Phonaris teeth that we've started using, the Ivoclar ones. Not sponsored by Ivoclar. It's good you're not on your official Ivoclar account today. But your technician is going to have a certain brand that they work with, whether it's Ivoclar or like Vita or whatever it is. So this has got a set. It's quite handy. It's got a set of the teeth, and we've started looking at this. And I've gone through patients with this and said, what kind of things do we like? But the handy thing here is it's got a little ruler, and you basically it's going to measure on the nose, and then it indicates those kind of things. So do other brands, are you allowed to talk about other things that aren't Ivoclar? Do other brands, is that a similar thing that Vita have contacted me about giving me a mold board and things like that to go through cases, so I'm assuming they all do it. But yeah, we're going to start using this more because you want me to. So,
yep.
But what is that? Is that helpful, or is that something that you can just do yourself on the rim?
To be honest, I think it's helpful because sometimes for us it's quite difficult to choose the size of the teeth. Where we can go to the models, yes, we can go to the rim, but you just need to place on the nose, and we'll see exactly the size of the teeth. It will tell you need to go to the large ones, to the medium one, to the small ones, and from there we can choose the different shapes from there. But it's a easy and funny tool that will help you, and I'm pretty sure the other brands will have it too. But I think it's something quite interesting, and they can see it quite quick on the appointment.
Yeah, so I've used it as almost like a shade guide sort of thing, and said, you know, what kind of shapes do you like? And obviously, like, we've got the photos. If we've got old patient photos, which is like ideal, you know, you can sort of have a look and say, oh, they're more rounded, or like that one that we showed on the Dropbox. You know, she had those specific features that she wanted: the long, tall centrals, the pointy canines. I think, was it three different? But yeah, I think this is handy. Obviously, it's going to speed up your time as well, knowing I need to work on
Yes,
this side.
we 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 need to give some work to the dentist. It's not always for.
And then again, other things, other toys that we've got. Oh, I've got to open it. Gingival shade guide. Obviously, we just do a photo of the gingiva with each one of the three. And again, other brands are going to have. I'm sounding like the BBC, aren't I? Other brands are available. Other brands are going to have it, but you know, that's handy for the signature cases that we're doing, trying to blend in. You know, that partial case that we did last week, 2 weeks ago. That was really nice to get that blended in really well. So, you know, I think that's quite a handy thing. Is photos enough? Because I don't tend to write down like BG34 anymore. I just send all the photos.
Yeah, the photos. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
about just send the photos, marking with the shade that you have there. And to be honest, this is really, really important. Most important when we are doing a signature denture and for partial dentures, because when it's a full denture, let's be honest, the denture will cover all the gums, so we can play a little bit. But when it's partial denture, we really need to have some references, and these photos with a shade guide will help a lot.
Yeah, I think I'll try and get that case up. Where was it? Yeah, and I think the signature ones are obviously they're the fun ones that we like doing, because you've got that extra challenge for you, I guess. I know you got very excited when I sent you the picture of the staining that you could copy on the on the teeth. I know you got very excited about that. So yeah, I think like photos for that are obviously important if you want to be doing these kind of details. Where is it? Because that then allows you to blend it in. Where is it? Blend in, and then you've been able to get the and been able to copy that staining and things like that. So, like, is there root shades or anything like that that we can be using?
Sorry, Rupert, I lost you. Hello?
Have I got you back?
Can you hear me?
When you shoot this, yeah, I've got you, mate.
Okay.
So when you shoot a shade tab, what camera flash setting are you using? So all of the photos that I take for Ricardo, I'm doing on twin flash portraits. So I actually have the patient stood up most of the time. Let me find the shade for this patient that we're talking about here. Yeah, so here we go. So I've literally got the patient stood up, and we're trying multiple shades. We've got an A3.5, a B4, which is quite a tricky shade to take this patient. And that's just on a TTL shade, because it's more about just having it doesn't need to be consistent throughout the appointments. It just needs to be consistent for that. So I've had no problems with doing TTL for that. So yeah, just going back to the stains and things like that, are you using, is it tints, is it composites? And you know, do you need shade guide for that, or is that more just you're eyeballing it and you're just that good?
I gotta say, to the stains and for the gum and everything, I use composite. I use Nexco, and of course, I need the shade guide for the gum, and I need the shade guide for the teeth. And of course, I will have a look to the pictures for the photos, and from there, I will try to match. Sometimes I match, sometimes I fail a little bit. But it's really difficult. I think, yes.
You were unhappy on that one in the end, and I thought that was a bit harsh on yourself.
Yeah, I always think that something should be improved, but yeah.
No, it's difficult because it's yeah, the partials are like that are super difficult. But again, it's just getting lots of photos and working it out. And then the other thing that you sent me a while ago that we've been using is the sample models.
Yeah.
So if you'll, talk to your technician about it, they might have old dentures that they've not ended up sending out or something, or just like you've done here, you've made me a set of different ones. So you've shown the signature all the way up to doing fillings and wear and stains, the more simple ones. It's quite useful for talking to patients and showing them. But also now we've got all the photos, and it's super easy if Instagram's like your digital portfolio. You just grab your phone quickly and say, do you mind if I show you this? And you just put a picture straight on. And to be fair, since I've been doing that with our signature one, particularly that the Fanaras case that we did for that chap, every single person wants signatures. It's easy. But it might be worth asking your technician to give you a couple of samples of what they can do. You've done where's the half one? You've done like a half one there for me, so you can say, these are just the nicer teeth and this is the gum details that we can do. So you can have nice teeth, a little bit straight, a little bit tints, or we can do the wear and things like that. And yeah, I think it's cool to ask your technician because they can show you what you can do, and it's better for converting patients and doing the fun ones, doing the signatures and things like that. So I think ask your technician, because you made that one for me, and it's definitely helping. Just seeing if we've got any more questions. I don't think so. Anything else that you want to add on?
Yes, and I think it's quite important because we are talking about that is the communication. Try to have a good relation with your technician, and the same way the technician should have a good relation with the dentist. Try to communicate. Try to think as a team, and not somebody that you're doing the work only. Just try to think as a team. Try to think that if you work as a team, if you work together, the patient in the end will win something, because we'll get something special. And remember that we as the technicians will learn how to work in the lab. We are really close, the same way that you guys dentists works in the practice. So basically, if I'm going to the practice as a technician, I will learn quite a lot. And you guys, if you're going to the lab or speak with a technician, we'll learn a lot too. So again, work as a team, learn from each other. And I think in the end, everybody will improve and it will start working the better way.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, I think I say, like, your name comes up 3 times in the consultation appointment for my patients. Like, I make it's super, because I'm mainly consenting for photography and things like that, and say, look, I'm going to take a ton of photos for making this denture, which you probably haven't had done before, because I've got to show Ricardo this, that, and the other, and we're going to make this result, and we need it for that, and make them really, really aware that it's a big deal, and these cases do take up a lot of time and a lot of extra effort than maybe just doing a normal thing. The signature ones. Carol's case we spent so many hours on that. It was ridiculous, but it got a really good result for the patient. So yeah, I think you're right, and I think you touched on it right at the start as well. As a technician, don't be afraid to give feedback, or as a dentist, if you receive that feedback, it's that whole blame the lab mentality and things like that. Don't be afraid to just say, yeah, okay, fair enough, because a lot of the time as well, like the technician knows what they're talking about, and if you don't like what your technician says or you don't trust their opinion, then don't send your work to them really. But yeah, I think it's really important to take that, and like I say to you all the time, what do you think we should do here? Because well, at the end of the day, you've been making them longer than I have, so it's it's a
And
no-brainer really.
let's be honest, two persons thinking is better than only one.
Yeah,
So
and especially when it's a more interesting case where something, a little bit different happening, whether it's doing a window or a chrome with an altered cast technique or something like that. You might have made a similar case and say, well, this worked well doing this kind of framework design or whatever, or this clasp or that clasp, or yeah. So I think you've got to make it a team, and that's what it is. But I think you just think about what more information can you give, because you're not going to, until you have to upgrade your Dropbox to the two terabyte one like we had to. You're not going to complain about having too much information. And if it takes you 10 more seconds to take another photo or to write a quick message, then go for it.
yeah, yeah.
We've got any other? Got quite a lot of people watching, haven't we? Any other questions from anyone watching? Aston's asked quite a few. You can drop us a message afterwards if not. Ricardo is on his personal one, so drop him a message on VR Dent if you've got a question. We have got some technicians on, I've seen. But yeah, I think, do you want to add anything else, mate?
No, I think we've said almost everything. And of course, if you need any help with anything, I'm more than happy to help and assist with anything. Yeah. So feel free to.
That goes for technicians as well, doesn't it? Because you do a lot of teaching with technicians.
Yes, yes. Yeah, if any technician have any doubt, you need any help, any support, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy. Yeah.
Sweet. Right, I think we'll leave it there then, man. Good to see you, bud.
Yeah.
Catch you later. Cheers for coming, guys.
Bye.
See you, bud.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Impression Club Live.